put some lo-fi on in the background. I think that's appropriate. Shout out to everyone here on the live stream. Thank you for coming on in and sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show. You're here with XRP Muser and the Crypto Lifer. Today we're going to be going over the updates into XRP and the SEC. We all know that I think it has extreme repercussions throughout the entire crypto space. It is a ripple effect, as we keep saying, and whatever happens in this case, I believe is going to set a precedent for years and years to come over how they deal with financial laws regarding cryptocurrency. I believe it's going to begin, hopefully, good regulation, new regulation, or hopefully the idea that, I don't know, maybe we don't know where we'll go, but it has to be the beginning, the origins of whatever will become our new financial system. So I believe we'll look back at these times and this case. First thing I want to say is, XRP Muser, how you feeling today? How you doing? How's everything going?
You know, the crypto market's not looking too good, so it is what it is. I mean, honestly, looking at it, I still see another couple months of a bull market. So everybody's getting a little bearish out there. I'm still kind of bullish. We'll see. When everybody goes one way, I'm usually going the other way. When I see a masses thinking one thing, I'm a little suspect to that, because when I see the masses doing something, the opposite usually happens. So we'll see what happens. I'm not I don't know the future, but I'm still kind of bullish. I think the next couple of months will give us some good tokens. I think we need some all-time highs hitting again. So I got faith. But
yeah, stay tuned, guys. That's what we'll do. You watch the interview, stay tuned, and I'll give you a quick update on Bitcoin, so you'll get that. So if you give me a little bit of your time, I'll give you what you want. I'll give you my personal update on Bitcoin, what I think is going on, what I'm doing in the market, and just what I'm focused on. I usually find one or two focuses, and if you could focus on one or two things, you can really maximize your profits, I believe. I'm not saying you don't have a vast portfolio, but then there's like certain moves you want to make at certain times, and I'm gonna let you guys know what they are. Stay tuned towards the end. Right now, we're going to get into what's going on with XRP and the SEC. I'm super curious about it. I don't get a chance to deep dive as much. XRP Muser really takes over when it comes to the constant collection of data and following the crumbs and the deep dive. So, yeah, take it away. Get us started. Let us know what's happening. Let us know what the first beginning news is. And there's a lot of news. It's not just one thing. So, yeah, take it away, man. Let us know what's going down.
So first, I'd like to say, like I said last XRP stream we did, this lawsuit has a lot to do, doesn't have just to do with Ripple and XRP. It has a lot to do with the whole crypto market and the whole crypto world, honestly, because this is such a big lawsuit for digital assets. Because when we went back to talking before, it's about this fair notice argument that Ripple's trying to argue. Is that they had no fair notice that they were doing something that was illegal in the eyes of the SEC, that they weren't selling a security. So if they win this fair notice argument, that means that other cryptocurrencies that the SEC goes after in the future will have that same argument to battle in court. So that, for one, I think is the most important issue in this case, is that fair notice. And this what we'll be talking about today has a lot to do with this fair notice, because what happened in the last couple of days is that, I think we talked about it a little bit in the last stream, was there's a past SEC director. His name is Bill Hinman. So when he was director, he was
Bill Hinman. Bill Hinman. Hold on, we're just gonna pull him up, a picture of him, just so people can get a little picture of who this man is. William Hinman, SEC.gov, biography, and we'll give a little look of who he is here. Here is Will Hinman, everybody. You can see who he is. Director, Division of Corporation Finance. Will Hinman was named Director of the Division of Corporation Finance in May 2017. The division seeks to ensure that the investors are provided with material information in order to make informed investment decisions, provides interpretive assistance to companies with respect to the SEC rules, and makes recommendations to the commission regarding new and existing rules. So he's supposed to kind of be the buffer, right? Kind of help you kind of figure out what you need to do and maybe help you get regulated to kind of, right? I mean, in a way, right?
So he was the guy that kind of went on a lot of news stations to talk about, any updates on what regulations were coming to the crypto markets.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, he was the one guy that came out and actually made some like pretty, important statements about Ethereum and Bitcoin and them being not secure. Right?
Okay.
So in the beginning, it was like, okay, this is good for crypto. They're at least coming out and say Ethereum and Bitcoin aren't securities, and then maybe hopefully later on they'll have some information on other cryptocurrencies or just a broad statement on regulation on the broader crypto market.
Yeah.
So when he came out and said, I think it was 2018 when he came out, we're going to go over the interview we had. I think it was on Fox Business or something, where he came out and said that Ethereum, he thought that Ethereum and Bitcoin were actually commodities and not securities. So when he came out and said that was a huge thing for the crypto markets. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum boomed, or the whole market might have boomed that day. So he knew that when he came out and said it, made a statement, he was speaking, people thought that he was speaking for the SEC and the regulators. So later on, what happened was when this lawsuit came up to Ripple, Ripple wanted to depose Hinman. Well, now they're trying to get Hinman to come and give an interview to why you came to the conclusion that Ethereum and Bitcoin weren't securities and that XRP was.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing now is that the SEC is trying to come now and say, oh, actually, Hinman really wasn't speaking on behalf of the SEC. No, it was his personal opinion on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that has nothing to do with XRP. So it's kind of shady. And then
that's not what wait, like let's just
how is that?
Who respect to the SEC rules, assistant to companies with respect, and makes recommendation. Okay, I mean, but he works for the government. I don't know. Interesting.
He was working for the SEC when he made the statements, and when we look at the video, when he makes the statements, he's not saying I, he's saying we.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's working for the SEC, and he said we came to the conclusion that this blah blah. We did this. It's like, who's he talking about? Him and his wife? No, he's talking about him and the SEC.
Okay.
He can't say we in these conversations, and then later on when he gets in trouble from what he said, he can't say, oh no, that was my personal opinion. I just happened to be working for the SEC and going on. All
they send a lawyer to his house and told him this is what he's going to say, right?
And this is where it comes to the fair notice thing.
He's been pushed for this.
If people think that he's speaking for the SEC, right, then investors are saying, oh, hey, he's saying that Ethereum and Bitcoin aren't securities. Maybe that means that later on they're going to say that cryptocurrencies as a whole aren't securities, unless you had an ICO. And he says that actually that cryptocurrencies can be centralized at first and become more decentralized as later on.
Yeah.
And he even states that Ethereum could have been a security in early stages, but now has become more.
They're trying to take moving water, because technology now. This is what happened. You had technology and government. If you put them together on a graph, like they'd be moving. Technology was always moving, but because of the exponential volume, right, and all the different Moore's law, right, and all these different ideas that are based off of fact and statistical analysis and mathematics, that they say, Moore's law is the idea that anything you push into the internet will expand, and the internet will continue to expand at a fast multiple rate. And you can see how much more, every day we create more data than we did the day before, right? Look at me, look how much content I've created more than 10 years ago. And just and then as technology moves, it's easier for me to create more content, and then boom, boom, and then everyone. And then, so we make more gigabytes and megabytes a day. And at this point, cryptocurrencies something could come out, a new breakthrough in sharding and Byzantine fault tolerant, could come out in the next 6-7 months that could tweak what cryptocurrencies do again. And then the governments will be at a loss to regulate that. And then they will, it's going to get to the point where the cryptocurrency technology is going to be we are unregulated, we are unregulatable. We are, no, I'm not trying to be blasphemous, but we are the closest thing to God's code at this point. Two people can transact trustlessly and neither one's getting burned. Right. I transacted with the government when they printed the US dollar, and I've been getting burned for a long time.
You're not the
So,
only one.
and now they're trying to enter into a beautiful contract that I have with Bitcoin that's acting exactly as I want it to. And it's just interesting to me how I feel like they're always going to be trying to grab a cat like that's jumping out the window, like by the tail. Like, when does it stop? Like when, and I'm all about like, trying to protect people from scams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that. Like, and it is rampant. But you know what? Cryptocurrency and technology will take care of that. We can have bot scanners. And like right now, honestly, if you get scammed, I've bought probably 50 to 60 of those little micro coins. Yeah, some of them have gone up and down, but I have yet to ever buy the one that went rug pulled. Like, and I'm saying, knock on wood, never say never. But, and how is that? Well, like, I know how to look at a BSC scan and see how many addresses. I know how to look at a dev wallet and find out how much freaking coins they gave. Like, I know how to, like, there's simple freaking things you can do by just pressing a button. Recently, someone jumped into a pre-sale with my group, and they were like, so, like, what's the update now? Like, what's going on now? And I'm like, so, and I responded, let me get this straight. You entered a pre-sale, and you didn't even research how you were going to receive your coins? Like you don't know what's happening? Like, you decided
to spend. Sam, like, most scams been going on forever. Scammers are working off of the people's, best, people are they, what's it called? People believe easily. What's it called? Being
naive.
People are naive in nature. Honestly, most people, they want to believe that, oh, I believe you, I trust you, because they don't want to believe that people are evil at heart, So people have been getting scammed for years, just because now there's a lot of scams from cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's a good reason to come with some regulation, but that's not no reason to get rid of the whole market. And you made a good point about the internet, right? So back in the 90s when the internet came out, people really didn't understand it. They were kind of making fun of it. What is this thing? We don't need that. And actually, the U.S. did a great job in the way they started regulating the internet. They kind of put it in a sandbox. They were like, we don't want to kill the innovation here. We know this is going to be big for us. So let's not come at this regulation in an enforcement way. Let's come at it as like an easy way. We'll you guys give you like a lot of leeway to do your thing, and then we'll bring regulation as you guys are.
But some people say the internet was stolen because the internet should have been free, and it's not. Like, it's not. Like, they definitely put their hands in it. And now, like, we're trying to create the new internet again now. Like, now we're trying, deep brain chain and deeper network and secret network and,
Yeah, it's funny how the internet was brought out as like, oh, everybody's free. It kind of was a free thing at first, and then obviously, like anything, it gets corrupted, and it's like, oh, like, people saw that there was some big money in this. And like, look back in Nikola Tesla, right, with electricity. He wanted to give electricity to everybody for free. Yeah, right. That wasn't going to happen. So they shut down Nikola Tesla. Look, Edison comes in, and look, we're paying huge money for electricity that should be free. That's that's capitalism. That just happens,
Yeah. Tesla's it's crazy how things happen in life. I was always sparked by curiosity, and it's very similar to a stone. Like, I always look at like those little walking paths, and like you get on one stone, and and I was sitting at work when I was, I think, about 24 years old, and there was a gentleman who I really liked. He was a big, tall guy. Eric, I remember, still like him. Shout out to you, Eric, wherever you are in the world. He was a smoke editor, meaning he would, like, when you ever watch like a Dorito commercial, or, shouldn't even say stuff like that, processed food, but a commercial, and, it looks like they're in a stadium. They don't put 100,000 people in a stadium. They get shots of a stadium, and then he superimposes different groups of people. And so, like, he was one of those people. Like, a car goes down the street. They shoot a car sometimes in a studio, and he puts the road behind. Like, he made all these big commercials you see. He's sitting there reading a book, and it says, like, the life and times of Nikola Tesla or something like that. And I didn't know who Tesla was. 24 years old, had never been told. And I'm like, who's that? Like, what's that book? And he's like, you don't know. And he's like, yo, come here. And he brought me into a room, and I closed the door, and he's like, yo, you need to read this book. Like, you need to know who this man is. Like, and I was like, I find out about him, and I'm like, why didn't I get taught about this guy in school? Like, where was the disconnect? And I went to a great high school that was like, I thought covered the bases. Like, his name was not whispered once in the city of Boston. Like, I was up to 22 years old, grew up in the city of Boston, went to New York City, and until I got out of college, I mean, maybe I know there's other people that figured out who he was, but wow. And that really probably began my journey. Like once I learned who Nikola Tesla was, and then Coral Castle, and then, you know, UFOs, you name it. And like, I've been telling people there's been UFOs for the last 10, 12 years, and my friends and family have been looking at me funny. Now it's in the news yesterday blatantly. Like, they're telling you they're seeing objects. That the report yesterday wasn't to, all they really said was, they're moving around. We think it's China and Russia. That's really what they said. But they said, like, there's foreign objects in space, and they're physical, and they don't know who's driving them and what they are. I mean, that's clear. They did admit that. For the first time in history, the Pentagon came out and just blatantly said, yes.
Isn't that weird, though? That it makes you think, though, like, for them to come out and finally say that, you know, they haven't made it easy for us to trust them, obviously. So, like, for them to come out and say this, you kind of think, like, why are they trying to distract us with this?
No, there's always no. It's always smoke and mirrors. Like, your 10 years, they're already taking their life and right while they got you at the intersection. You know what I'm saying? For sure. They got the blinking yellow lights on you. Oh, caution, you know, while they're freaking, they're on the boat freaking getting off the shore already. You're freaking looking at the freaking shore. No, they're always ahead. They drop nonsense. If you're watching the media, anyone out there, if you are watching mainstream media for nothing other than to laugh or just to get watch it once in a while just to see what what the clowns are saying, just to kind of like, what is their silly now? But I don't even do that anymore. I tune out because I'm starting to realize that literally, I think the earth this is going to be kind of crazy. You guys might hear this, but I think we are going through a shift. Age of Aquarius really is coming. And I believe if you raise your frequencies, like, you will literally begin to live a new reality. And I'm starting to feel this because there was people that used to get to me, like, believe me, people like DM me, like, Lifer, like, you real as you say you are. Like, someone said to me literally yesterday, like, is that high frequency fake? Are you as really as you say? And I was like, how dare you? Number one, I was like, how dare you speak like that to me? Like, what? Like, who gives you the right to come and talk to me like that? Number one, whatever. Like, I was like, I never did anything. I've never insulted you. I've never done nothing to you. But the point was just like, you eventually don't even feel those people anymore. They don't, like, I used to feel them. Like, the higher I get up, like, the more I'm just like, and then I'm only around people of a higher frequency. Like, that's it. Like, those are the only people I'm.
Bring it down, right?
No. But I used to say bring me down and stuff like that. I'm literally, like, feeling elevated. Like, I literally don't hear them. I don't see them. And I'm not saying, like, oh, I'm better than. I'm just saying, like, their frequency is, like, literally, it's not like when I have two wireless microphones. Like, I have to have them on the same frequency. Like, I don't interact with those people anymore. Like, they don't. They honestly are losing my dimension. Like, they're falling out of my dimension. Like, they're not in my dimension anymore. Like, I don't live in that dimension.
That's
it's literally
you found a way to kind of to channel them out, and that's a hard thing for most people to do. I mean, you got celebrities and all that, and they lose their mind over stuff.
That Britney Spears story is horrible.
That's crazy,
I mean,
right?
Her dad's got her under conservationship, which is only they give to old people who can't, like, go to the bathroom and stuff.
Control her
like
life, dude. Control her money. Like, that's.
And
so it's like for you to be able to block that out and actually just kind of go with you kind of bring people towards you that are like-minded in your way, that, like you said, at the same frequency that you're on. And we have a great group. It's unbelievable, the group that we have. It's unbelievable.
No, and that's why this is important about the SEC too, the control. Like, this guy has control over his daughter, and we can't have the wrong people doing the wrong things. Like, we need to know what the motive is here. Blockchain's pretty transparent. Anyone who tries to make it non-transparent is being non-transparent. Like, when they tell you, oh, they're laundering and Bitcoin's bad, I'm like I said in the video I made in the Citadel last time, I said, you know how much dollars are bloody, like, inside of, drug cartels, like, stick them in houses and, like, put them behind the walls, dug in underneath, that we can never track, like, millions and maybe billions of American dollars just covered in blood, like, and we could track. You get chain analysis, you get the right people, you can track every Bitcoin down. Like, you can find it. Like, you'll be able, and once they tumble it, fine. But my point is, like, you can find out really what's going down in blockchain. Like,
yeah, the whole money laundering argument, I never understood from the government. So, like, oh, it's used for nefarious things, and it's like,
it's the worst money. It's the worst money laundering tool in the history of money laundering. Go use Monero. Like, Bitcoin is the worst. Like, they'll find you. You can see everything I've ever done. Once you get my address, you will see everything I've ever done with Bitcoin for the last however long. Like,
and
so
for them to say that too, it's like people have been using cash for nefarious activities for years. So you're telling me all of a sudden, just because we have a new form of currency, that they're not going to use that for like,
exactly.
who's gonna use
People are nefarious. Like the
Right.
hand is nefarious. Whatever you
But
put in the
that always
hand,
pisses me off.
yeah, like no. So let's get another article up here to kind of get
So,
more.
yeah, so that first I want to say, because we were talking about kind of on the same subject. So what
Yep.
the SEC is coming out and saying now, which is messed up. So SEC, they're supposed to be here for investors. They're supposed to
Yeah.
represent the investors.
They wrecked a lot of people too when I mean,
So now, since this whole Bill Hammond thing coming out, that they found out that he had, so when he was with the SEC, he was basically he wasn't working for it, but he was basically getting paid by a law firm that he worked for in the past.
okay.
And this law firm was highly invested in Ethereum.
Okay.
So during this time, he's getting paid by this law firm that's invested in Ethereum. He comes out, gives Ethereum clarity, right? Which was kind of shady at first. Then
Yeah, a
he leaves the
little pay
SEC.
for play. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah.
I mean, that's part. I mean, that I'm sure we all know that happens in our
It's the most
government.
corrupt system in our government is all about how many lobbyists you have and how many dollars you pay
it's
them.
so
Like,
funny how people go from
remember the
regulator to
RG? Just look up RJ Moore, like RJ, right? The cigarette companies and the lobbyists and how they were. You know, they eventually
Well,
couldn't put freaking Joe Camel with a freaking sneakers on and but for years they were targeting 11 to freaking 14-year-olds like with a freaking cartoon.
right.
A
And so it's
cartoon.
funny, we know that regulators have been going from the regulators to the private sector back and forth.
Yeah.
We know that
Yeah.
happens. And it's just part of our corrupt system that we need to do better, obviously, but we know it happens. So he's getting paid by this law firm
Mhm.
that's highly invested in Ethereum as he's in the SEC, gives Ethereum, Bitcoin kind of like clarity.
Yep.
Then he leaves the SEC, goes back to the law firm
Okay.
that was getting paid out or getting highly invested in Ethereum. So it's like that doesn't pass the smell test at first, but then now he's getting more and more into more crypto. Now I think Adrian Hurwitz, what's his name? Adrian.
Yeah.
Hurwitz?
Adrian. Yeah.
He just
That $1 billion
started
fund,
$2.2 billion.
$2.2 billion fund. Yep.
Yeah. And they just hired Bill Hinman as an analyst. It's like, it just doesn't pass the smell test. I mean, maybe there's nothing nefarious going on, but I mean, come on. So the SEC after this, so this is public knowledge, right? And
So you think, wait, just to break it down, you think this is like kind of like trying to monopolize through law, like using trying to compete with, what if they come up with their own coin? You're saying or what if so they're trying to hold Ripple down while they do their own dirt on the low, like in the same industry. So
Well,
it seems like they're
I think-
using their law power to kind of like win a capital battle.
So I think the way Ripple did their thing, right? It kind of brushed the feather. It kind of has a ripple effect. Put a ripple effect into the financial system.
101 people
like-
watching. Please hit that like button. 42 likes. 101. We just hit 101 people. Hit that like button, please. We appreciate you. XRP Muser, man, taking time out of his day to come and give you guys a bunch. Like he's been studying this and going over this probably 5, 6, 7 hours a day for the last few weeks. I mean, every day is what he does. He's the XRP
It's been
Muser, but
almost 3 years
yeah.
now.
Give the
But,
kid a like.
So I think that Ripple kind of brushed the feathers of these high bankers and regulatory regulatory bodies.
The IMFers.
Yeah, I mean the BIS, the Business of International Settlements. They're kind of like,
Yep.
because Swift, like we talked about last time, Swift does like 85% of bank.
Also, every time I Google financial, institutions and stuff, they're in bed with, like they were the Secretary of Treasury for Bush one year. Then he works for this. They're like they go back and forth between the government and the finance. Like it's like freaking a revolving door. So, of course, now these people are the same people who don't want to, because they might actually have investment in the SWIFT system. You get what I'm saying? They might actually be getting kickbacks from the old way money's moving, and they might be like, whoa, like.
And so we know that
I'll
these
become
people don't
broke,
like crypto. We know that people don't like crypto. They don't like Bitcoin. They're always talking.
So sad, right? That's like that's like not liking Uber. You get what I'm saying? Like I lived in New York City. I used to wait for cabs in the rain. Someday when there's a rainy day, everyone tries to get a cab. You'll sit there like you have to walk blocks, find places. It's not that easy some days.
That's a perfect analogy.
You hit an Uber, it's in the rain. You're with your friends. You can finish that last bite of dessert. Oh, my car's here, guys! Like, and you run right outside. So how are you gonna hate on technology that moves, man? So
when Uber and Lyft came out, right? The taxi companies. This is a great analogy to like crypto and the banking system. So the banking system would be the taxi companies, and Uber and Lyft would be the cryptocurrency. So when
and they
found a better way to do this, right?
What's up, Peter?
My father.
What's up, Peter?
Oh, you superstar, you.
This guy.
You superstar.
I love that guy, man. Oh, man.
Sulo in the house.
Peter.
So, a great analogy. So, Uber, they had a better system, a better way of doing things. Easier for the consumer, cheaper for the consumer. The taxi companies had a monopoly. And especially where I'm from, the taxi companies could charge tons of money for like a 20-minute ride. There's no meter.
There was indentured slaves in New York. No, I'm telling you, guys would move from India, right? They'd get in like 3 or 4 of them would live in an apartment in Jackson Heights. No lie. So they'd share like a 1-bedroom, 5 of them. So they'd share like a $1,400 1-bedroom, pay like $300 in rent. They'd have to take a loan out. They'd work for a guy who would say, okay, eventually you'll get your... They would always be like, one day I'll get my medallion. Like one day, like I'll own my own medallion. And like some of them never made it. Some of them would take out... A medallion was $150,000, I found out. Like you had it. So they would put a $20,000 down payment, then rent out the car from someone else.
Right.
And then they'd be paying off the medallion. They were making like, even if they made $600 a day, if they were that lucky, I mean, they were stuck, man. And then when Uber came, a lot of those guys were just halfway through paying off the medallions, and they got destroyed. They were just like someone who was overinvested in the real estate market in 2008, and just eventually your asset was worth your ass. You know, eventually the money they owed on the medallions. I actually got short. It's sad. I got emails to short a medallion company out of Chicago. I shorted it, made money because they said Uber's coming out. This company's gonna lose the insurance. They're gonna have to take out insurance policies on all their freaking, because they're not gonna be able to pay off. No one's gonna be able to pay off the loans that they took out for the medallions because they're done.
So perfect analogy. So you either adapt or die, you know. And so what happened? Those people probably lost some money doing the.
You either had to get an Uber app and start doing Lyft and Uber, and
they get paid more money.
And they did, and they shifted.
Gets more,
yeah,
they shifted. Exactly. So
there's still yellow cabs out there. I mean, I don't live there anymore, but when I was there was still a yellow cab or two out there.
Oh, for sure, they're still around, but it's definitely a dying breed for sure. Because now anybody can become a Uber or Lyft driver, and now it's like, for the consumer, it's easy. You don't have to like go find a cab. It's like it's an app on your phone, like anything. You just.
They also did something really weird. In the 5 boroughs, they made green cabs. They like painted it an off color, like it was like a light green now. It's not a yellow color. It's like and that can't go into Manhattan. And so now these guys are like restricted to the boroughs. Like they're starting to it's just getting.
So in the airports, they don't allow the Lyft and Uber drivers to come to the taxi stands. They have to like go underneath the tunnel. So like they kind of
you got to go find the dude. Yeah.
It's a battle for sure between the taxi drivers and Uber still, but in the end, Uber and these apps will win because innovation always wins.
Exactly.
So back to the analogy with cryptocurrencies, banks are going to battle this. They're going to try to fight this as much as they can, but they know, and that's why banks are starting to come over. They know they have to adapt or they're going to die. So you're going to have these banks slowly but surely come into the market.
I mean, they're here now. Citibank announces yesterday, right? Citigroup announces announces a crypto to their people, man. The block right here. Citigroup launches a digital. Just want to bring this up. Citigroup launches a digital asset unit within its wealth management division, June 24th, 2004. June 24th, 2021. It just, Citibank, man. That's it. Like, that's it. Like, they're the McDonald's of banking, like, in my opinion. So,
I'm telling you, it's one by one. They're going to just start coming.
I will never bank with Citibank ever again. Just quick anecdote if I can. Struggling as a kid, living in the upper Spanish Harlem, 99th and 3rd area. And I got, I had some cash or whatever. I had I wasn't paying bill. I was just a mess. But I got some cash finally, and I had to pay some credit debt and stuff. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I think I even had like a surcharge, but my account was probably like under. So I went and put like literally like $2,600, $2,800 into the bank. I go outside, I want to go eat, and, I want to get something at Staple. I wanted to buy like a hard drive. I was editing, always doing something, and no money in my account. And I'm like, but I just, bank closes, right? Can't get to the bank. I'm like, I call numbers, I have to go there the next morning. I'm like just kind of feeling weird all night. I kept that little yellow receipt that you get when you deposit money at the bank that she hands you, Thank God. So I get to the bank the next day. I'm like, listen, like, I deposited $26 in my account. Like, it's not there. And they're like, and I'm like, and they're like, no, we see it. And like, they were just like, nope. And I was like, all right, like we need to get the cameras now. Cause like I had cash in my hand. I was like, we need to get a manager. I was like, I have a little yellow piece of paper in my hand. I said, and this is actually relevant because XRP is about banking yourself and so is crypto. So like this story is relevant as far as it is me going on a little, because this is why we do not want to have to trust a banking system. Right. So I'm sitting there like, no, like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about, because like you're a young kid, you're like no, like I put $2,600 in my account yesterday, like you mother, like you're like starting to feel weird, like whoa, like are they gonna get security on me, like what's gonna happen in here, like, and so then I'm like no, like I did, like, and I'm not telling myself calm down, like just be real slow, it will work out. I'm like here's my yellow little thing. I was like, it says the money right here, and you guys signed it, and I was like, I have a stamp, and she's like, and she looks into it, and like they're like, all right, a guy comes out from the back office. What's going, I'm like, sir, I'm upset. I'm like, I deposited cash to this bank and you guys don't know where it is and I don't have it and I don't know what's going on. And I was like, he's like, please don't get loud. And I was like, I am going to get loud. I was like, I don't know where the money is. Like, and it's been a half an hour now and I don't know what's going on. And like, I need to go on my day too. Like I have things to do. Like, and I was here yesterday. So, and he's like, so he sits me down in like a little room and he's like, all right. He comes back like 10 minutes later and he's like, okay, you had out overdraft fees in your account, so it had been closed. I was like, all right. So when I deposit, the person at the thing was like, did something stupid. The teller was, she didn't realize your account had been closed, but then maybe when she tried to put it in, it didn't work. So she put it in a transitory account. This is what he tells me. Because I don't even know what the hell a transitory account is. He's like, your money was placed in a transitory account, he says to me. He says, we found it. Thank God, he's like, always thank, I'm happy you had your receipt, he said. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? Like, and then I was like, well, I was like, we're going to go to the cameras. I looked at him. I was like, we're going to get to the cameras. I was like, because I had cash in my hand. Like, I was like, it was counted out and handed. Like, that's documented. Like, and they gave me like $350 on top. Like, they were like, they got it in there. They were like, all right, we're going to put the funds and it's all okay. And we're going to give you extra $350 for your troubles. I was like, that was shady when like a bank gave me an extra $300 like just to like shut me up or something. I was just like,
right? They didn't want you going to the press, right?
I closed that account a week later. I never banked at Citibank ever again for the rest of my life, So I just, Citibank.
I had a similar story. I'm not going to get into it, but I had a kind of similar thing with Bank of America when I was living in California. No, not Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Mm-hmm. They tried to screw me out of, like, they tried to give me a credit. I was 19 years old living in California. They're trying to give me all this credit card, give me a credit card, give me this, give me that, trying to get me in debt. I was like, you guys are like literally trying to go after kids and put them in debt so they owe you a bunch of money, trying to give me, it was unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that, being that young, didn't understand the banking system that much. So just to understand, that just gave me a bad feeling towards like, these guys are just trying to scam us all, And then Wells Fargo, years later, all that stuff came out with Wells Fargo trying to scam their
making fake accounts and like creating, like they just create an account for you on just whatever,
fees. They just wanted to pay fees. So, it's funny. We were just talking about fees and stuff. It's banks, right? Banks are closed. They close it. They're like 7 to 5 or 7 to 4. They close on weekends. You give them your money, and then you can't access it sometimes. So ATM machine, or you lose your ATM card, or your ATM card doesn't work. You can't access your own money.
I'm looking at my Trezor account. I'm looking at my Trezor hardware wallet, and I'm like, couple hundred racks just sitting at any moment. I can just go anywhere in the world with. Then I went to my ATM. I dealt in cash for a long time, for years. I didn't use an ATM. Like I probably use an ATM machine maybe 2 or 3 times a year for a long time. Like I probably used one maybe 400 times in the last 10 years. Like maybe less.
Same, and then the fees, ATM fees.
Fees. But then I just went to go to one recently, and it was like,
I'm taking my own money and it charged me.
You took $600, and then I tried to take another $600, and it's like, you hit your limit. Like your limit's like I can take like $800 a day, like $800 a day. Like
they don't even tell you that until you have to take the money out. They're like, oh, you only have $1,000 a day. I'm like, well, I need my money right now. I'm trying to buy like a car or something for something important. I need to buy my
money should be like air. Money should be accessible at any given time, and anything that you own.
Lending, when I see, most people don't know about those Mike Maloney videos that you got me to watch, the fractional lending, how they can just take 90% of your money, they're only legally allowed to hold 10% of your money in the bank.
And
So
you know
everybody-
they've gotten rid of that. You know that's because of after the pump. They've actually lowered that now. They actually throw that. They
Like
threw it out.
5% now?
Yeah, Jesse B. No, we'll have Jesse B on the show one day because the other day I said that to him. He goes, "Oh no, is that?" He goes, "That's gone. You know that, right?" He's like, "That's gone now." He's
They
like,
just take all
"They
your
don't even
money.
need to. Yeah, they don't even need to do that anymore. It's over."
See, that's why you don't trust banks. I'm not going to give my bank.
Look up the
my
GlassSteagall
money,
Act, right?
my
GlassSteagall,
hard-earned
man.
money. I'm
you
going
know?
to give you my hard-earned money, right?
Yep.
And trust you to keep it. Meanwhile, you're taking my money and making a bunch of money and using it
Yep.
for who knows what. And then if I want to come take my money, you're going to tell me, oh, you can only take a certain amount of time. Or if everybody makes a run on the banks, oh, sorry, we don't have the money at hand. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to trust that. And that's why in 2008, when that crash happened, that's why Bitcoin came out, 2009? This is why crypto came out. They screwed so many people in 2008 that people
Yeah.
are like, I don't trust this
Well, look,
system anymore.
I just want to bring this up too. This is a little history lesson for everyone. The GlassSteagall legislation. If you don't know what the GlassSteagall
GlassSteagall,
Act,
yeah.
right? I mean, it was describes 4 provisions of the United States Banking Act separating commercial investment banking, and it was saying that like the banks would have to have certain reserves and that they couldn't use your money in shady markets. Like they couldn't just,
Right.
that was the whole point
They're
of it.
gambling with your money, basically.
Yeah, it was basically trying to protect, banking reserves from being too risky, and they repealed it. Right, it ended up getting repealed and
Gone.
threw it right out the window. And following the financial crisis of 2008, legislation unsuccessfully tried to reinstate it. Right, but there was too many lobbyists. They had at that point the government had been bought. Our government has been bought by big business guys, and we all know that. FDA, CDC, you name it, it does not matter if it has a government logo name on it. It's been bought by big business. It's been written, So just follow the trail of money, and you'll see, how they vote, or what commercials they put out, or what their agenda is. Yeah.
And that's a good way to get back into what we were talking about with this guy Will Hammond, right?
Yeah.
So obviously it looked shady with him, what he was doing. He was giving, going on the news, stating that Ethereum and Bitcoin weren't security, while he was invested in companies that were invested in Ethereum. So Ripple's trying to get him to come and interview under oath to why he came to the conclusion, and why do you, if you had these interests in Ethereum, what made you come to the conclusion? And he states that ICOs are illegal, right? And before I say this, I have no trust me. I own Ethereum. I have no problem with Ethereum.
Yeah, no. It's just these are the facts.
They had an ICO, and they come out and say that ICOs are illegal, and we're going to go after ICOs. But then later on, they say, well, actually, Ethereum's fine. So they're picking. This is the thing. They're picking winners and losers. So they're going to come and say, which Ripple didn't have an ICO. They're going to come and say XRP is security, but Ethereum isn't. But say ICOs constitute as securities. So it's like you guys are all over the place. So obviously that goes back to the fair notice. You guys are making the whole regulation confusing as hell. And now, but we were supposed to know that we were doing something illegal. So this is where that fair notice argument really comes in, where that's going to be huge for Ripple, because you have an SEC director come out and basically muddy the waters of like, oh, this is an ICO is illegal, but Ethereum's not a security, but they're just all over the place.
Yeah.
And for 8 years, XRP has been sold in the open market. And then after 8 years, you're going to come and say, actually, you were doing something illegal. You should have known you were doing something illegal.
It was like one of the third cryptocurrencies ever created. It was like it's one of the oldest cryptocurrencies. Like, why the regulation now? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
it goes back to you have to if governments and banks have to know that the crypto is the future of the financial system. They have to know. If they don't know now, they're gonna know. But I think most people know at heart that this is the future. So I think Congress right now is starting to push regulation a little more. It's slowly but surely, like anything happens in our government, it happens very slowly because they can't get crap done ever. So I think what's going to happen, I think that's why the SEC came out and said they're not going to do any regulation on crypto this year. They're kind of letting Congress do it first. And then once Congress passes something, then I think all the regulators will get together and come up with a framework that doesn't kill innovation and that makes U.S. lead in this market. Because right now, they are
also
not
the problem is a lot of the people that are trying to make the laws can't understand the technology. And they're having like I don't know if some of them will ever understand the technology.
Well, that's why I thought it was great.
They may be kind of kick the bucket down. You know, they maybe like my
Right,
dad.
That's why it's great that the new SEC commissioner actually taught blockchain technology at MIT. Like he understands the technology. Like that's huge. So I think he's kind of taking a step back from this case right now because it happened. It was brought up by the past administration. So he's kind of like letting them do the. I think it. So they.
You know what someone just said? The best way to win a game is to change the rules.
Right. That's what they've been doing for years. Right. But I think a good thing about what's happening right now is that they're going through this discovery phase of this case right now. And out of like the 7 hearings they've had, Ripple has won like 6 out of the 7 arguments so far.
Amazing.
So the judge is seeing what's going on. So it's going to come to a settlement. I think 95% of cases in the SEC come to a settlement. So they have to go through this discovery phase first, and then they'll have probably a settlement. That's after the discovery phase comes through, then they'll talk about if they're going to have a settlement or not. It seems to me that they're just trying to fight as much as they can to get the biggest fine out of Ripple. And I think what they want to do, and what the SEC is trying to do here, is to give Ripple the biggest fine possible to like kind of set the law of the land of crypto in the US. Because what Ripple did, if you think about what Ripple did, it was kind of genius, to tell you the truth. I think people hate on Ripple and XRP because what they did was they basically funded themselves through a new digital currency. So it's like they basically didn't go to banks and get money. They kind of like, their initial investments were from Google and other investments to start Ripple, the company, but they kind of started selling XRP to fund their company, which is like crazy to think that at this day and age that's something you can do. And I think the banks and the regulators were like, we don't want them people to be able to do this. So I think Ripple is too strong at this point. They've been doing this for so long that they have the firepower to fight the SEC the way, because if the SEC will go after a company that just came out and try to do what the Ripple's doing, they pound them into the ground because any new company wouldn't have the firepower to fight the SEC. But Ripple has serious firepower behind it.
And you know what that says to me too is, again, government old and creaky and not working, cryptocurrency fast, beautiful technology, right? And it can't compete. You get it? Like, because Ripple shouldn't be going against, this is really Ripple. We're saying right now, Ripple versus the SEC. It's not like Ripple goes after Kin Token, where you feel like it's like this lion running after a mouse. It looks more like David or it looks more like Godzilla and King Kong here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are behemoth. Like this is a behemoth worldwide billion dollar company.
And I think the SEC kind of like underestimated the power of Ripple and the power that the money they had behind them, and the power they have behind them. I mean, they had, we went over the board of directors of Ripple last time I was on. Like, they have past SEC employers on their legal team and their board of directors. It's like, you're not gonna win this battle, and I think they know that now. And I think, like I said, they're just trying to give them the biggest fine and try to make the most. Like, they know they're not going to win in court, but I know that they know that Ripple's going to be huge in the future. And I think that at this point they have to know, like, this is an American company first off too. Like, if this is going to be the future, let this American company flourish.
That's another point you just said. When's the last time you could say those two words in the same freaking sentence? Like, we can say it all the time, but like, yeah, American company, but we know we know that we know the factories are not in America. Like, this is like, cryptocurrency is here. Like, it's like, I mean, if we should already be Miami. Like, we should already be we should be Malta right now. We should be Singapore. Like, we should not. Why are we being held down by dinosaurs, man? Like, and you know what I think it is, and what I truly believe, and that's why I think this is I'm going to make a movie called Bitcoin Heart, which is basically Braveheart meets the Bitcoin movement. I'd like to do some type of satire or even make it serious, but and why I think it is somewhat serious is because I want to come up with something right now that I've been thinking about. Like, I may run for local in the next 3 years. It might take 3 years, but I'm going to run for like a local government position at one point. Like, once I feel somewhat established, maybe 5 years, but once I feel established and I'm kind of where I want to be, and I know it's happening and it's going to continue to happen and the movement will continue, I'm going to take that energy, and I believe I may, maybe not. I don't want to like rustle any feathers, but my idea is, and I'm going to be the first politician that runs and says all balances need to be on the blockchain. I want the entire American population to be able to go to some website And I guess certain things, I guess, are national security, I guess, so you can't. But, like, at least show me, like, $10 billion into the school system. $3 billion went to Boston Public. $1 billion went to Philadelphia Public School. We bought 10 million computers. Each were put into this case. Each computer costs. Because once we set it up automated, people just have to do it, and the blockchain will take care of it. It will track it all.
And you can do that with the voting system too, Sam.
So that's what I'm trying to tell everyone. Like,
fighting it so hard.
Enough isn't. And so I want to say, and I've been saying on Instagram recently, is we need to demand that blockchain be implemented in voting, that blockchain be implemented in our tax collection. The issue is, then everyone will see that we only pay a VIG to the Federal Reserve, and most of our tax dollars do not go, and that will cause an uproar. So I believe that there's blockchain will reveal what has been used to imprison, and there's a deep, guys, this is deep. Like, if you're getting goosebumps, if you realize how serious this is, like, this is a changing of the guards. Like, this is not easy. Like, we will go through a metamorphosis of some type, like, as a whole here, as a populace in the world. Like, there will be major change as blockchain emerges because, like he said, they do not want to give up their old control of the system. And that's what this SEC, and it's awesome because this conversation now is being sparked by that court case. Mm-hmm. I'm having these thoughts now because of that court case, right? They're spawning this idea. I'm like, well, so we should demand blockchain voting at least. We should start with blockchain voting at least, and
Charles
go on from there.
Hoskinson has been talking about that for running on an ADA. Right?
It
makes no sense to have it not transparent. Like, things should be like voting for sure. It should be transparent.
Yeah.
You're when you're talking about the government's balance sheet or whatever what's it called, that should be public knowledge of where that money goes. Like, when I pay my taxes, I should know where that's going. I shouldn't just have to just guess. It's going to schools and roads. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Never goes to schools and roads. We should know where our money, our taxes are going.
Yep.
And I think that's a great way to win office.
We have a secret space system. We have a secret space program. Dude, they got magneto leviton trains. Go Google it. They have underground trains.
No,
they'll go from here to California in like 20 minutes, bro. Like, they have underground systems. They have an underground city. Don't think our government. We have one of the greatest, intelligence. America has really. We have underground bases called. Look up DUMBs, deep underground military bases. We have them. We have 800 around the world. Like, there's no. Just please understand that you are dealing with a very serious entity when you're dealing with the United States government. I do know that. Like, pay your taxes, for now, unless you're ready to go completely all out and Wesley Snipe it. You are dealing with the Italian mob. It's better off you think about it that way. Like, you are dealing with the mob, and you could end up in a place you do not want to end up. So don't play games. Don't try to be smarter than you think you need to be.
This is a quick little subject change here, but I've been watching this show called Billions, and I'm sure people have watched the show.
I love it, yeah.
And it breaks down the whole, like, so the lead actor is the hedge fund manager that's kind of doing shady deals, and then the other guy is the head of the Southern District of New York, and it's like the SEC's involved.
Yeah,
it's like they're always just doing shady deals with each other. They're doing favors. These guys do favors for you, and they do a favor. It's like it's the mob. It's the mob. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. So like when I started watching the show, I was like, it kind of like brought to light this whole SEC case with Ripple. It's like they're the mob. They want their cash payment. They know Ripple's going to be a huge company and make billions of dollars in the future. They want their piece. Like I talked about when they went after Tesla, right? And what Elon said, he's like, they just want their money. I have no respect for the SEC because they don't care about innovation. They don't care about investors. They want their piece. Because we also talked about that the SEC makes their money through settlement fees. They don't make their money any other way. So they have incentive to go after big companies and get fees and get money. So just that whole structure of funding money, it makes no sense. The incentive to go after American companies to get a piece, that's the mob. That is the mob.
Oh, and do it as in the guise of protecting the American investor
Right, to
who
say
you
that you're
wrecked,
protecting the American investors.
who you wrecked in the process, like
So this is a
brutally,
great way- so
like in one of the
this is
greatest bull runs ever. You demolished XRP, like
So
you
I think-
smothered it when
I
it
mean,
should
think
have
about it,
grown like a
XRP
flower.
is
Like
bullshit.
you know it
Think
would be
about
$2.87. You know it would have went to $3 if they didn't do
Oh,
that.
for sure. Well,
You
Sam,
know
you
it
know
would've,
that
like-
XRP started the bull market. XRP went up when that was it.
Oh yeah, remember when it? Yeah, remember that night? Yeah, you're right.
It
You're
just
right.
boomed,
You're right.
And then
Yo, it was the
then
first
market-
coin to
the
really.
bull
That
market
night
right
was
after.
insane. Yeah, that was those couple days were
Insane.
nuts. Yeah, you're right.
So SEC comes out after that. Ripple comes out and tries to depose Will Hammond to come in and do an interview. SEC puts out a statement. I think I sent it to you. I think it's I want to say it's the second article I gave you on
Okay, let's
Telegram.
pull it up. Yeah.
Pull it up because it's basically SEC comes out and says XRP holders are putting out false information on Bill Hinman and John Clayton, like basically trying to
This
say
is
that
so
we're-
funny. Like, I love this. Like,
just because
Well,
we're putting out videos of what they actually
the
said,
narrative is
that's
insane.
false.
Like, even with the Wuhan thing, you were getting kicked off of. I won't even go. But people were getting their channels and for saying that it came from a LAB, right? I don't even know if I can go.
Mentioning the name.
I was saying it on
coronavirus.
Instagram and people were calling me insane. Now it's regular. Now you can say it's regular. And so like a lot of times things I'm saying, if what you're saying most people think is insane, you're probably on the right track. Unless you're just wearing a dress and you're walking outside and you're a man. Like this new, now they got a guy wearing a dress. You seen it? They got one of the new stars wearing a dress on the cover of a big magazine now. Like so, man.
Harry Styles.
Yeah, it's manly to wear a dress. Like, I don't know, man. They're getting crazy. Like, it's getting weird. But anyway, the SEC claims XRP holders have shared false info about Hinman or Clayton. See the footnote. What's false? After reading the footnote, I say maybe allowing the disposition to go forward will make future high-ranking officials more accountable regarding the things that they say. This is especially true whereas proponents of XRP have consistently used social media to disseminate negative and false statements about members of the SEC leadership. You know they're kind of they're grasping through straws right now, like because this sounds like some desperation. Like
But
when
Andrew,
you
and
start
that's the
pointing
thing,
out
you're
social
now
media.
attacking the investors. You're attacking the investors you're supposed to protect, and it's
Wait, look, a deposition of a former high-ranking SEC official like Director Hinman, when coupled with the type of negative media exposure already present in connection with the case, will increase the deterrent to public service for qualified individuals like Director Hinman. Wait, will increase the deterrent to public service. That's wrong. So they're trying to say, oh my gosh, right? They're trying to say that like good people won't do good things for the government now because, come on, man.
right. You're muddying the
Come
waters
on.
for these hardworking SEC employees. Like, give me a break, dude. What?
This multi-millionaire dude, you know, and let's look what is his
Yeah.
net worth? Like we know his,
Yeah, look at his net worth.
like wait, let's look at this guy, right? How much is
Hardworking social.
how much is William
Civil servant, you know.
Hinman
Give me a
net
break.
worth? Guys, you know he's worth billions, right? They don't. I can't even find it, right? Like, it won't even like.
Because he was a government employee, they have to. It's had to be public record.
I got the wrong. Let's see here.
You
I mean,
know,
it doesn't
it's
come
just-
up like when I put Miley Cyrus's name in here. Like, hold on. William Hinman net worth, and I gotta spell worth. I'm always got a typo. Let's see. William
I
Hinman,
say,
SEC tenure. All I got, I can't. Nothing. No
you can't even
Wikipedia.
find it.
Look, a
So
Simpson
I-
partner. Look at this though. A top SEC official was received. Here we go. Here, Business Insider. But we were about to get it. A top EC. About to see. He was getting inside it. He was getting money. Facts, rumors, birth date, net worth. Okay. Who's Bill Hinman? Born July 1st, 18. No. Some other guy. Damn.
I think I sent you one of the articles that.
But
Who
look,
else
hard to
is-
find. Okay, here you go. U.S. SEC executive who said Ethereum is not a security to leave the agency. Yeah, seen that was in October. What happened at a small business capital formation roundtable advisory committee meeting? Interesting. I don't want to bore people with these long, but it seems like there's.
So go to the
You know he's
James
a bill.
Filen 12 Twitter one. I think it was the third one I gave you.
James K. Flan, right? Yeah.
He's a well-known attorney in the XRP community that gives us information on the case, some legal information. So
XRP community SEC news versus Ripple, 1/5. Okay, so this is 1 of 5. All right, so okay. What a convoluted and contradictory motion to quash. First, Hinman gives a pass to Ethereum in what is arguably the most impactful speech on digital currencies at the time, as well as Hinman's career at the SEC. Second, the SEC says Hinman held a position of critical importance to the SEC's operations. Third, the SEC then says Director Hinman has no unique first-hand knowledge of market participants. So he's the right-hand man. He's got it all, but yet he doesn't know anything when the time comes, right? Interesting, right? So he has had no knowledge of market participants, understanding as to the regulatory status of XRP offers and sells. Okay, I give him that in a legal standpoint. They can try to separate the zones, whatever. Fourth, the SEC shows its weakness, saying the court should quash subpoena without prejudice until after Judge Torres's ruling on the SEC's motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense. Finally, Hinman finishes it and his credibility off with the declaration that, to the best of my knowledge, the commission had not taken at that time and still has not taken any position or expressed a view as to whether offers and sales of Ethereum constituted offers and sales of securities. I expect that Ripple and the individual defendants are going to absolutely shred this in their response to the SEC's motion. Okay, wait, if the SEC is only playing for time, not to win, e.g., then just throw out lots of obvious BS, and because they are stalling for something else. But what? That's what I wanted to know, kind of. It's funny he said that. That was my, subconscious shootout when we first started the live stream. I said, well, there's a motive always for the participation. Where is the motive here? Interesting. Then you have another Twitter here. We got here.
There's a good couple of videos here showing the statements that Hammond made.
Main principles. I know there are also a number of folks, both in the venture VC community as well as entrepreneurs, and it's always good. I tell them to listen to people who are actively crafting the rules for this work, and maybe you could repeat a couple of the 10,000-foot
Sure.
ideas.
I mean, the speech got a lot of attention because it was the first time we had expressed to the world that we didn't view Ether as a security, as it was then currently being offered. We're not talking about the original offering, and we're not talking about what it may evolve to over time, or if someone repackages it or does other things with Ether. But we're saying at the current time there wasn't really a need to regulate Ether as a security in our minds. The speech was called When Howie Met Gary.
Main principles. I know there are also a number of folks, both in the venture VC community.
If he doesn't represent them properly, so they can be we when they want to be we, but he's him when they want him to be him.
That's interesting. And then they're muddying the water and making it confusing as hell. So how are they going to argue that Ripple had known better that they were selling security when you basically confusing us with, I was speaking for the SEC at the time, but now I'm not with the SEC, but at that time I wasn't actually speaking to the SEC.
You know what's funny? This is us. I'm an XRP holder. Are you? So we both hold XRP. So XRP holders, right now, we're on social media. We're talking about Hinman. So right now, we are the people being accused of disseminating false statements about their leadership.
By showing their own words. It's how is this false? But
this is us right now, right here, live.
Saying this. It's not that we made this stuff up. He's on video saying these words. How is this false statements?
Yeah, who is we? Him and his golf buddies?
Right? He's speaking on behalf of the SEC. Why is he there in the first place? Because he works for the SEC and they want his opinion on regulation and all this stuff. What do you mean he's not speaking on behalf of the SEC? Who is he speaking on behalf of? Is himself and his wife? Who's we? Like I said.
Yeah.
It just grinds my gears, man. It's man.
Ripple's top lawyer on the SEC battle. We're fighting for the crypto industry. I love it. This is what it's all about, guys. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Pull up your sleeves. Let's get into the dirt. The crypto garden. Stuart Alderati. spent nearly 2 decades working for old traditional banks, doing what he described as a little soul crushing. Then a door opened to a new, strange world. Nobody wants to live in that low frequency zone. The bankers are living in low frequency. When you are a succubus off of the populace, when you circumvent the monetary system so that you're the first person to get access to the money, when you print money, and let me explain something too, why this helps them. When you print money, okay, and you expand the monetary supply, the person who gets the money first benefits the most because it's not out there yet as much. Like the value, the second they spend it, the value go right. So the first person to spend the dollar. So every week that they do this and get more closer to it,
and then they can lend it out with high interest rates. So like they give it free basically, and then they start giving it away with all these interest.
Well, now they can't even lend it out with high interest rates because saving is gone. They have to just give it away at a low interest rate at this point.
Well, now they're giving away like it's negative interest rates or not.
It's going to come. It could be coming soon. You will be paid to have a loan. How crazy is that? You'll be paid to have a loan. They'll pay you to take a loan out.
Put money.
Doesn't make any sense, right? You get what I'm telling you. We could have we're on that. People are like, what?
And that's why people are like, oh, hyperinflation, that can't happen. It's like, what?
Negative interest rates, guys. Negative interest rates. Get punished for saving.
Moron, right?
Get paid for borrowing. Get punished for saving. Get paid for borrowing. Like literally, like. So, okay. So I love how he already made a point that he was kind of sick, and he kind of references the idea that he was done with the old system. A headhunter reached out about 3 years ago to ask if he could consider being a general counselor for Ripple, a 7-year-old.
People know what a headhunter is, right? It's someone that can.
Yeah. They go and they try to find the best person for your company. I mean, you hire them so you can, and you usually try to hire. So what you do is you hire a headhunter to find a headhunter, and then you hire that headhunter to find the right.
That's right.
You find the headhunter that finds the best headhunters. That's where you start. So it was a 7-year-old startup. Ripple uses blockchain technology to process payments, but also offers its cryptocurrency called XRP, making the company a pioneer in a small but fast-growing industry. It seemed like a crazy idea. Small, isn't that funny? It seemed like a crazy idea. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about blockchain. I knew less about crypto, he told Protocol. But Alderati was intrigued and eventually took the job in January 2019. It was a major career shift that he now compares to jumping off a cliff. But in a really exhilarating way. I mean, we all feel that way. I feel the same way. I was a video editor, guys. Like in a union work, I put 15 years into a career. I now don't do the career that I thought I was going to be doing till I was with my pension and my, and I thought myself right out of that little box, and I created my own reality, man. And now I live in it. And literally, he did a similar thing. Like he just was like, oh wow. And that's what the beauty of cryptocurrency is. It's so early that when you jump in, you're still. Every time your risk is rewarded. When you jump into an industry that hasn't been fully, really, completely foundationalized, like it doesn't have its complete, you're taking a risk.
And it's exciting, right?
And if that grows somewhere, and literally the last time we had a transitional paradigm shift like this was when the .com era. And so I've talked to 55-year-old guys now, real estate investors, friends, other people at that meeting, and they're looking at me and saying, dude, you're where it's at. I got a guy saying I can turn $1 million into $4 million. He's like, and he goes, and it's real estate's drying up. He's like, he's down. Once you do 500, 600, 700, 2,000, 3,000 projects in your life, you know how good markets and bad markets. So you start just like a crypto market. You start comparing. Well, I can build 200 houses this year, and I can flip this one, and the labor and lumber's going up, and so. The lumber went up 300%. If you saw that took a huge pinch out of everyone's bottom. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So, oh man, yeah, damn. And so, at least you use Ripple, which probably actually went up further than that. So you actually beat the inflation on lumber. How funny is that? By using cryptocurrency,
I use my
because he invested in Ripple years ago
to buy lumber.
Used small amounts of that profits to buy the lumber. So he, despite the 300% increase, he probably 1,200% of his investment. So he's still up. Cryptocurrency will preserve your energy that you work for. When you work hard,
levels the playing field, man. That's a great thing that people say. It levels the playing field for most, middle class, poor, working class folks, man. Because
it's the easiest way for you to jump a class. I'm telling you right now. I have no business holding what I hold right now. I have no business having the bank account I have right now. Going the way I was going, That was not going to happen unless I started a company, maybe, whatever. But I accelerated. I made a jump for sure.
People have been using the stock market in this way for years. It was time, and you still can't. You need to be a what's it called, investor to do after hours trading and actually big time trading.
It's so funny you said that. I'm on a tutoring
like
session last night.
Club.
I'm in a tutoring session last night, and after the end, if I have a little time, we shoot the old dice, so to speak. Yeah, and we talk, and I was like, and that's when I got out. When I finally figured out there was freaking pre-market and aftermarket, and when I really realized when it hurt me, like when I started realizing, like, damn, like they can scoop up lower prices because there's lower. Think about it. Supply and demand is the price. They take out all the demand and then play by themselves. They lower prices in the middle of the night. They're able to get it, and then when it comes back to the market, the demand comes back. Like, that's not fair. Like, so you get to go into the back door every single night, and I can't. And when I found a 24/7 market in cryptocurrency, I said, I am done with that nonsense. Like, and I can make money Saturday night, and especially when you're trying to get out of the situation you're in. Here's another good point. You're trying to get out of, you work 9 to 5. How do you trade the market when you work 9 to 5? What if you're like a security guard? What if you're a park security guy where you got to walk around, check the park out. You got to be in the car driving around. Like, you're not like, now you can go home at night. You can live trade cryptocurrency. Like, you can backtest an idea. It's a 24/7 playground waiting for you at any given moment. I'm going to make a video, the top 5 reasons why trading crypto is better than the stock market. And like, I can list off 100 easily. But the number one is the opportunity is there at any given moment in time, right? You could have Bitcoin just popped back to 31.8. You could have just taken that run back up,
Back to what Robinhood did with AMC. Like, they started treating the stock market like crypto, and people were making big money, and they shut down the market. They wouldn't let people keep buying. They only let people sell. So they basically crumbled the stock.
Or what about
on top of the retail investors?
Well, what about even when we had a big when Cake hit its all-time high? Pancake Swap did a spooboo. It's sitting at 40.39. I can't sell my Cake. Coinbase goes down every time.
Prices go skyrocket.
When they dump too. Sometimes you can't sell your freaking crypto. It's like, have a contingency plan, man.
Centralized exchanges in the future.
Another reason, guys, why we have to ladder out. You have to start selling some of your positions before the moment because, if you're already 40%, 50% out, and then you have an issue.
Use a lot of exchanges too. Don't have all your money on exchange, or don't have all your money in one place. Like, spread it out, just in case like Coinbase goes down. If you have all your money,
I advise 5 Binance accounts. 5 Binance accounts, up to 5. Once you get 10 grand in one. Once you get up to 20, 30 grand in one account, I think you should make, 100 grand should be in 2 to 3 accounts, I believe, at least, or maybe
you keep
different
your money
exchanges.
In a ledger or a hard wallet, right?
Yep.
And if you're with like 6 different exchanges, you figure out which one's working, put it on that exchange, and you can sell. But like you said, ladder. Don't just expect to sell everything at once, because if it goes to a price where you want to sell and then you can't even get on the exchange to sell, you're screwed.
We gotta be a step ahead. We gotta be a step ahead because we know this is going to happen, guys. And So let's go back. So in December, in a move stunned crypto and blockchain world, Securities and Exchange Commission sued Ripple. Its founder and executive chairman Chris Larson and CEO Brad Garlinghouse accusing the company of raising $1.3 billion because they don't want companies to do what they did. You broke it down. They don't want you to be able to create outside investor money through your own intuition, through your own brain, through your own intellectual property. You can't create your own code, create your own coin, and then actually become a billionaire.
They want companies to use their system. They don't want an outside system for them to be able to raise
and they
money.
want to be the ones to be able to invest in you. Like, they want seed round. Like, they want to own shares of Ripple when it.
They want their piece. The mob.
It's the mob. It's the founder and executive chairman Chris Larson. $1.3 billion in unregistered digital asset securities, which we don't know if that's true right now because we can't. The crux of this SEC complaint is that XRP is not a currency, but a security, and therefore subject to strict security laws. Ripple, Larson, and Garlinghouse failed to register their ongoing offer and sale of billions of XRP to retail investors, which deprived potential purchasers of adequate disclosures about XRP and Ripple's business and other important long-standing protections that are fundamental to our robust public market system. Stephanie Avakian, the director of the SEC Enforcement Division, said, and she probably is she's Armenian. Every time your name is IAN, you're Armenian, Avakian. Anyway, the lawsuit rocked Ripple. The value of XRP dropped dramatically. Coinbase, a major cryptocurrency exchange, suspended trading in XRP. In an interview with Protocol, Aldarati explained Ripple's defense against the SEC claims the lawsuit's impact on the company and how this legal battle could have serious impact on the entire industry. One of our defenses in the case is that the SEC failed to give fair notice to market participants about which digital assets they would consider to be what's called investment contracts under the law, or stated even more precisely how they would go about determining which digital assets would be investment contracts under the law. Not only have they failed to provide fair notice, we believe that we've alleged that they actually created mass confusion in the marketplace. A person of ordinary intelligence really couldn't figure out what was on the right side of the SEC's interpretation and what was on the wrong side. That's the same thing right now with the taxes. I'm telling you right now, they're not like, they're saying, oh yeah, a crypto to crypto is a taxable event, but like, how does that make any sense? Like, and like when do you, so you're telling me if I buy XRP right now and then I buy Cardano and Cardano tanks against XRP, I haven't finished the trade yet. I'm still in a trade. Like I could go back to XRP and then I could reclaim the losses. I could be down or up. Like, I'm not down, or I have not realized any gains at this point. There's no gains that have been realized. Like, and then I say, but then they realize, oh, but he could stay in Cardano for the rest of his life and it could become a currency. So, but then I could trade it again immediately. When am I in a trade? When am I not in a trade? They can't define that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, and then if I could go XRP to Cardano to Litecoin, back to Cardano, back to XRP, and if I did that 7 times a day, okay, so all those transactions are taxed. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and you don't have the manpower to go through every single it doesn't make sense to me. Like, there needs to be it has to be more clear. It has to be in and out. You started with a denomination of currency, right? $15,000. You put it into the market. You sold it for $150,000. You then remodeled your kitchen. Like, you took the money out. Like, you owe us. You're in a 30% tax bracket. You made $135,000, right? You owe us 40 grand. Okay. There you go. I'm gonna pay my lawful. Like, I have no problems with that. Like, I will pay you my taxes. But like, if you make it extremely difficult for people to do, like, they're gonna be confused and they're not gonna know what to do. Like, it's not clear right now fully. Like, and this makes it not clear because we don't know if we're holding securities or if we're holding property, if we're holding utilities. We still don't know yet. This lawsuit.
And Sam, it's in their best interest to make this framework more clear. So
yes, because they'll get more money. People will do the right thing and pay them the money. Like,
once a regulatory framework comes in, I understand what I'm going to get taxed. All right, I'm going to get into the market, and guess what? When they start selling and making all this money, you get a piece of that. So why wouldn't you want to get this framework done? And I think that's why finally we need to get our piece. Like, back to the mob thing. I think they want to get this regulation going because it works in their favor in the end. It helps everybody out in the end if they actually come with clear and precise legal framework on what's taxable, what's not taxable, what's security, what's not a security, what's an ICO, what's not an ICO. Just give us some, like, I go back to the...
Dude, I'll play by the rules if you let me know what they are, man. I'm not trying to do anything shady. I love my family. Like, I don't want to be McAfee. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want this stuff happening to me.
So
I want to freaking live a great life.
Ripple's going to win this fair notice argument, and that's going to be huge for other cryptocurrencies because if the SEC decides to keep going with enforcing it and going after, Cardano, if they go after Tether, if they go after all these companies, then at least they have the fair notice argument to be like, how am I supposed to know I was doing something illegal when you guys didn't even know it was legal or not? Like, how am I supposed to know what the legal framework is if you guys are saying this and that, this one's a security, this one's not a security, but ICO is a security, but Ethereum is not a security, but it had an ICO, but it had it. It's like, it's so confusing. How is it, like they say, how is an ordinary mind supposed to know what's illegal, what's security, there's nothing. Give us something.
And that's like, there's a lot of legal jargon there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes someone who's like done, like, I can't just jump in that conversation without some serious, like, so in my mind, it gets to the point where this guy has the law, you go to the dentist because the guy's got a medical right degree. Right? So it's like this guy does the law, he knows the law, and he can't figure it out. So part of our efforts in defending the lawsuit is to understand how the SEC is thinking about these issues itself internally. Hammond, we believe, was a central actor in creating the narrative for market participants and actually creating much of the confusion that we still live with today. A key difference that's been cited between XRP and other cryptocurrencies is that XRP issued 100 billion units of XRP all at once for the Ripple network, unlike Bitcoin and Ether, which are still being created through mining. Therefore, it's more of a security than a currency, the argument goes. How do you respond to this claim? And the timeline of that is somewhat important. Prior to Ripple being founded, the XRP ledger was created, and 100 billion units of XRP were created on the ledger. No more will ever be created. Then Ripple was founded, and a portion of that 100 billion was gifted to Ripple. I don't think that's relevant to security analysis whatsoever. The security analysis, it's the sort of esoteric test from a 1946 Supreme Court case called the Howey test. The Howey case or the Howey test. It doesn't matter whether, honey, it doesn't matter. Daddy. Yes, my love. What do you need?
Mommy wants to go to Joe's.
Okay, we gotta end this in probably 10 minutes. All right, 20 minutes.
No problem.
It doesn't matter whether the asset is to be created or is created. What matters is the asset sold as part of an investment. Is the asset sold as part of an investment contract? And here, fundamental, simplest way to think about this case and why the SEC is so wrong about this case is that Ripple never sold XRP as part of a contract for an investment. For a legal standpoint, whether something is pre-mined or whether something is mined, be it through proof of work or through proof of stake, I think it's pretty irrelevant to ultimately to the legal question that needs to be decided. Yeah, like
so what they're saying is an ICO, right?
I didn't buy XRP. Yeah, I didn't buy XRP for 0001 and they didn't have an ICO to the public. Like right? They didn't sell a security to the public.
I was buying a digital asset. Like when you buy XRP, you're not buying part of Ripple. That's not an investment.
No.
The security is buying a piece of the company.
And like he said, Ripple, the company, could disintegrate, and XRP would still be a cryptocurrency that we could use to this day. Like,
there's so many use cases for XRP. You kidding me?
And it has open source, right? It is open source. I've had people say that it isn't and it isn't. I haven't done the deep dive on that yet, so I don't want to say for sure.
Trust me, people I hear that every day in the XRP community. It's been proven. It's open source, decentralized. I think I have a little thing here. So XRP has 156 validator nodes. Ripple runs 19 of the 156, which is 12%. You have to run 80% of those validators to manipulate the network. So they don't. They can't make people think Ripple can make more XRP. False. You cannot make more XRP. They think that just because they own a bunch of XRP, they control the network. False. Just because they own if Michael Saylor owned. If one guy owned 75% of the Bitcoin, that doesn't mean he can control the network. It's like people are just kind of like misinformed. I think
for sure. And it's really easy to.
In a lot of things.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
I understand.
So how has this case impacted Ripple's business? Let me just take a real macro view. We think about the importance of this case and the impact of the case much more broadly than Ripple. We think that this case is incredibly important to the digital asset industry in the United States. That was actually my next question. We're fighting not only to get the right result for Ripple, we're fighting to get the right result for the industry. This has IRS implications, in my opinion, too. Because I think it has. I mean, it has to have something to do with how they're going to tax people. The industry should not be left to guess which tokens will show up one day in the crosshairs of the SEC and which tokens won't. XRP is a token that has been freely and actively traded in a massive secondary market for more than 8 years. If I were to check today, the volume of XRP trading is probably approaching $2 billion. The fact that you can have the SEC wake up one day on an asset that has been massively adopted, massively traded globally, and say after 8 years, well, we think this is an asset now, not a security, this asset is now a security. We need to treat it very differently. The industry can't operate that way. How did we get through the looking glass where Coinbase is comfortable listing Dogecoin, but somehow they're not comfortable listing XRP, the third largest digital asset by market volume that has been in existence for 8 years, that's traded globally because of the SEC suit? This is the regulatory morass we're in. The regulatory morass that I think is resulting in the kind of bizarre or perverse outcomes. To your questions about the impact on Ripple's business, we're a global company. 90 to 95% of our customers and flows occur outside of the US, fortunately for Ripple. Most other establishments, economic centers like Singapore, Japan, and the UK, Switzerland, have adopted a clear regulatory framework for digital assets. So we're behind again. Being a global company, do you want to be able to have a strong presence in the US? Absolutely. Will I sit here and tell you that this has not impacted our business? I can't tell you that. But fortunately, given that we're a global company, and given that our other geographies where we do business and have created clear regulatory framework, we're able to continue to do business for most of our customers outside the US. If you think about regulatory uncertainty and the chaos that the SEC has created in the US, they're basically ceding that innovation to foreign geographies. Yeah, I mean, the new SEC head Gary Gensler, who's known as a crypto wonk and an expert on blockchain, he took the position after the case was filed. Do you expect that to have an impact on the case? I think prior administration, the administration that brought this lawsuit, I think they really demonstrated a fundamental lack of understanding about the industry and the technology that underlies the industry. I think there's been proven by this lawsuit. I think it's been proven by some of the pronouncements they've made while they were in office. I think it's refreshing to have somebody like Gary Gensler in office because he taught blockchain and technology at MIT. Having somebody in office who knows the industry and knows the technology, I think that is far better than dealing with an administration that I believe simply did not understand the tech at all. What that translates into a term of opportunity to get a clear regulatory framework in the U.S., I think that remains to be seen. Are there ideas or proposals that you would like the SEC or Congress to explore when it comes to regulation? There's a few things from a policy perspective that I think the policymakers need to keep an eye on. I would think of three things. One is there's a lot of trading that goes on, both institutional and retail. So you want to make sure that holders of these assets are protected at some level, consumer protection. Two, you want to keep, the extent you can, bad actors out of this space. Third, there's a tremendous amount of concern about the impact of many of the assets on the climate. And I think three of those need to come together. And there's no one regulatory body that I think can take ownership of all three. So what I think needs to happen is we need to have a cross-functional working group among the key regulators. Yeah, just like we made the space, we had Navy, we have the Army, now we have the Space Force. Like, it's time, we don't have to sit with it's time to make the crypto financial regulatory, it's time to build maybe a whole new form of government. I mean, a whole new branch of government.
What they're about to say is, and it's like you can't have the SEC say, so FinCEN came out a couple of years ago and said that XRP is a commodity, not a security. But then the SEC comes out and says it's a security. It's like then the Department of Justice came out and said it was a currency. It's like, guys, get it all together. Work together, come to conclusion, and give us the framework. You can't have this regulator saying one thing and this regulator saying another thing. It's like that kills innovation. That's why we're not leading in this world right now in crypto, because you have 5 different regulators saying different things. Get together and find the right thing.
So I think what needs to happen is we need to have a cross-functional working group among the key regulators, which is probably the SEC, the CFTC, the Department of Justice, FinCEN, Treasury, and the industry to sit down through a formal rule-making procedure or a legislative process to see if we can get to a rational framework that balances regulation with innovation. So you don't have regulation that crashes innovation. Therefore, there needs to be a balance. I was thinking the same thing, and I thought I was just kind of in my own head a lot. But this is exactly what I've been saying. The old school government is holding us back from getting where we need to go, right? This is awesome too. You spent most of your career at traditional banks and financial institutions like CIT, HBSC, and American Express. What was your initial reaction to the rise of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency roughly a decade ago? He said, I've been practicing law for, hard for me to believe, 35 years now. The first half of that was a traditional law firm, working my way up from an associate to a partner. The second half was in traditional finance services. American Express as managing counsel, HSBC as general counsel for North America, and ultimately general counsel at Citigroup, Citigroup. When I got the call for the headhunter placement firm to see whether I would be interested in the Ripple opportunity, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know much about blockchain. I knew less about crypto. I certainly was paying attention from afar to Bitcoin, but I was immediately intrigued by the opportunity. As a lawyer, the opportunity to enter a relatively nascent industry and help craft a regulatory legal framework for that industry from a blank slate was an opportunity that I could not pass up. I really believe it was a once-in-a-lifetime career opportunity. But when I joined the January of 2019, the industry itself at that point was only about 7-ish years old. Every other institution I'd ever worked for was more than a century old. It was still relatively young, and it was bubbling. But if you think about what's happened over the past 2.5 years, it's gone from bubbling and simmering to boiling over. And what's been the toughest part of the transition the last 2 years? Lawsuits, that kind of like, I'm built to do. Private practice. I was a litigator. I was a trial lawyer. So he's been through it. He knows how to cut through the red tape, man. I also had 2 stints as a special assistant to the U.S. attorney for the government. So he's been on the other side. I used the big, knotty, complicated regulatory and legal battles. I'm used to it. Believe it or not, that's where I am most comfortable playing. So this guy was the man for the job, man. They messed up.
He's a boss.
There might not be a better guy to do what he's doing right now. He can play both ends against the middle. He knows both sides. He knows your argument when you try to make it. Like, he might already.
He's struggling.
He has his chess move against you before you made the move. Like, he has you cornered, man. Like,
they're going against a serious juggernaut here, and they're realizing that it wasn't easy as I thought it would be.
Interesting. All right, so this has been an enlightening. I'm I'm so happy that they're that organized, that this is kind of who they've been.
And back to the whole thing. This is good for the whole market, because if they went after a company, right, that wasn't like Ripple, that didn't have the power that Ripple has and the good lawyers they have, then they could have squashed this company real quick and then went after another company, and then they'd be attacking
this guy's a hero, man. Honestly, this guy's a hero. Like,
he's fighting.
If he had stayed in the banking system, had he stayed in the banking system, right, and lived in that, like, he kind of like, dude, he's somewhat of a McAfee. He doesn't realize it. Like, he's McAfee-esque in some way, shape, or form, as being a proponent, a pioneer for our right. These are right. Eventually, everyone's, this woke movement is coming. Everyone's talking about rights. Where's the rights for crypto? Like, where's our rights, man? How come we don't have rights? Like, where are our rights? Like, we're not hating on anyone. We're actually empowering everybody. LGBT could have a blockchain, and they could put incidences that happen, and we could blockchain could help every single person's rights, everyone that wants rights throughout the entire world. So our crypto rights should be on the forefront of everything, because they're going to help anyone get rights that they want, And
it's something that when I got into crypto, I think I didn't like the whole attitude of like, F the banks, we're gonna create our own financial system, like we're gonna fight the man, like fight the power, the whole like you're not gonna beat the system, guys. You're not gonna overthrow the government. You're not gonna overthrow the powers that be. But we can get our niche. We can get in here and level the playing field and make it. That's why people hated Ripple and XRP so much, because the bankers coin. They're working with the banks. I was that guy. I wouldn't trade Ripple up until 2018. I was like, oh, that's a banker's coin. I won't. I got in at 97. I'll be honest, I love Ripple because I put like $9,000 in Ripple at about, I think it was around like 91 cents. And I sold it like $2.30. And I didn't touch it again. I made like 12 grand off it. It only took like a couple weeks. And I was like, word, like, thanks, Ripple. Like people need to get used to things like Ripple. Ripple is the future. Like, there's going to be exchanges and companies like Ripple that are going to take kind of the central banks business away from them. Swift taking Swift's business away from. But that's the future. That just because Ripple was smart enough to do what they did doesn't mean that they're part of the system that we hate, the financial system. They're just working in the system.
Look at the YouTube algorithm right now. It works for me because I took it over. When I wasn't here, there was no, right? So if I keep pushing hard,
shut down the system.
I'm going to take that. The algorithm only has space, it has space for, it's got, but there's slots for everyone, right? There's space, but like the harder you work, the more the algorithm's going to be there for you. You can't hate on someone that takes advantage of the technology just because you weren't willing to work as hard as them.
And Sam, maybe at some point, yes, we will take over the system, but you can't just go, we're taking over the system.
No, it's going to be a mesh.
It's going to be a slow transition.
Yeah, exactly.
First, banks are going to get into it, and yet we're going to have a total different financial system. In 5-10 years, God. It'll be, who knows?
You're going to look at a coin and a dollar, and they're going to be in like a little freaking Give me a little plaque. And you're
They'll
gonna say
be
this is.
tokenized everything. I mean, it's just money's gonna move information moves quickly. You're gonna get paid by the hour. We have this conversation. You're gonna get paid by the hour. It's gonna get put in your account right away. You don't have to wait a week, 2 weeks to get your paycheck.
Yo, life,
Level
man.
the playing field. For
Dude,
us
unlock that
working
$20
class
trillion
people.
that's stuck in the freaking SWIFT system that gets locked up from collateral money. Guys, you don't realize they have to send money. Then they have to have money in case that money doesn't make it. Then they have to have a bank back that bank, and the bank. You know how much money has to be underneath money every
Yeah,
time
all
they
this
send
money
money,
is
and
locked
then
in there.
a loan
Keep
has to be
nothing,
created.
just in case.
If I do a loan, then can I get a loan from you? Because banks, what they have to do, they have to keep somewhat of a small balance. So, but then they want to get the interest rate from another bank. They're like, oh, we got a good hit. We'll give you a higher rate. They can't. They're so greedy. They need to take the rate. So what they do, they have to go then borrow a lower rate from another bank so their balance doesn't go too low when they balance to the other bank. And they're all freaking shoveling
And
money
think
around.
about this, too.
That's
Think
what the
about
repo
this, like
system,
that-
that's what the repo system was. People don't realize it. That's what the lockup in September. And we still have not stopped. Like, that is a hole in a boat that they're pushing millions and billions of dollars in every single night, guys. The
You know,
repo
it's
market
funny,
is on.
People thought that just happened after the pandemic. That was happening in October. I remember me and you were sitting in my restaurant talking about happening in October.
No, it
last
happened in
October.
2019 of October before the
That's what I'm
pandemic.
saying.
That was the big news we were talking about. Like,
Right, we're talking about this is going to crash the market. This is going to crash the markets, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hits, and then they talk about.
oh, then the money printing came on like freaking water. Like they
Well, then
turned on the
they had
faucets,
an
man.
excuse. They had an excuse
Yeah.
to be, oh, now we can just tell them, well, yeah, we're printing all this money. It's like before they were kind of hiding it, no one knew. It's
This
funny,
is
no
my
one
guy
knew.
right here. Check out, this is my guy right here. This is like Mike Maloney's cool. He's like the old age. This guy's the new age. Like, he just does a whiteboard every day. He does one video a day every day. He's been gaining steam heavily. His name is George Gammon. I'm telling you right now. He gets crypto a little bit. He's not like 100%. And this woman, Lynette Zhang. You want to listen to Lynette. I'm telling you right now. She led me to cryptocurrency. She led me to gold. These are the people that helped me form a solid idea of the financial system. Look, right here. Will Fed CBDC trigger massive stagflation? Fedcoin, the inflation time bomb. And he breaks down the monetary system in a way no one else does. And he does a whiteboard every day. And he's such an awesome cool, and he's got a nice vibe, man. Freaking love George Gammon,
a
bro.
massive amount of stagflation, very
Oh, I know
similar to
it's
what we
okay.
saw in the 1970s. The short answer,
See, you
I
people
believe
need to start watching these videos
with the
because you need to
10,000
understand
And what I do, guys, I know
what the
no one has
government
time.
does.
Yeah, but I go to the speed normal, and I go to 2x, and I get
in the
through
banking
these.
system. But remember, going back to step
Right.
number one, the banking
This
system
is
can't
school.
take
This is-
additional
this is
liabilities
knowledge.
without
This is-
getting.
This is power, guys. Know that you need to learn this stuff because people
Yep.
they act like only
Tonight,
can
when you
learn
want to
this
go watch freaking Netflix or something, you know, unless it's the Game 7 Stanley Cup, I mean, or unless it's Stanley Cup Finals, you can watch that. But if anything else,
stuff. Gotta watch play a hockey. Bro.
I mean, will Fed CBC? This guy's going to teach you. He's going literally. This is an education, guys. Just because it's not a subject matter that's been stamped, right? I got in the last 5 years. I went to cryptocurrency university. I learned the streets. I learned the TA. I learned the research. I learned the ins and outs. You know, and I'm still at school. Where this is
I'm
going to
learning
be
every day, man. It's amazing what
I'm getting my
when I sit
master's
back and
degree
talk-
now, baby. You know,
When I talk to someone about this,
I'm getting my
stuff, I'm like,
doctorate.
how the hell did you
Call me
figure this
Dr.
out?
Price. Cryptocurrency.
People have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking to them. Like, how did you figure this out? What did you go to class? Something? It's like, no, you have YouTube right in front of you. You have your phone. This right here. This is a university right here, guys. You can get your knowledge. You don't need to go pay $30,000 a year to get knowledge.
Dude, you can teach yourself how to play. I taught myself how to build a walkway from scratch. Like from scratch.
My brother taught us how to do the flooring in our house. He taught ourselves how to do everything around us. YouTube is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go whale watching.
Well, there you go.
We should do that.
Nice
You
little
wanna do that?
Saturday.
We could do that. Yeah, like because it's like breezy on a hot day. But check it out. I wanted to show them like you can learn anything you want, guys. Like straight up, like
Knowledge is power. Remember that.
like you can do anything you put your mind to. Look, I built this walkway from scratch. See this thing? From scratch. This one right here. And I'd never built a walkway in my life. All right, in my entire life. Oh, there's your weed garden. Beautiful. From last year. I never. But look, I broke this down. Right? It was just asphalt. I cracked it open. Just said, whatever, I'm gonna do me. And then I was like, now there's dirt in front of my house. Like, what am I gonna do now? I researched it. I got the guy to dump the stuff here. I pounded it with the pounder. I made this. Look, I turned this little rock place into this. Just doing, you could, boom. I learned how to grow grass. I'd never grown grass before. Look, it was a dirt pile of nonsense. 3-4 months later, it was a beautiful garden with grass around it, like with the sun coming on. And look at the work, man. Putting in that work, man. Just I moved every single rock, whatever. It's always about me and my freaking craziness. But,
But
this is, you could learn anything you want, man. Look at this. I'm doing the walkway here like a freaking bricklayer. This is me last summer getting it in. Now my front of my house looks beautiful.
Saved you is unbelievable. Like how much money this.
I would have had to pay 10 grand, 7, 8 grand for that.
Saved us thousands of dollars. Don't think you can't do it. You can always do it, guys.
Yo, do anything you put your mind to. And dude, each time you do something like that, each time you, you could do anything you put your mind to. I created my own profession and I made more money than I did that I went to school with than I worked for 15 years in less than 4 or 5 months. Like, it took 3 years of culmination, but it's the idea, man. It's just like,
it really is insane, right? It's like, the more you think about it.
That's why my mentor who got me into crypto, one of my strong mentors, he said, listen, like, I started making more money than I ever made. He's like, people were like, yo, why did I pay for college? Like, it's all an experience. You did what you did for a reason, but like, you can literally join you could join my Patreon, right? Get tutoring, become part of my group, and learn a skill for $1,200 a year is my Patreon, and we give you two for $1,000 if you pay in crypto. So for $1,000 for 12 months, for 12 months.
With a degree, you don't know.
And it's good to you do want to buy in a bear market because you want to learn how do I accumulate on the low. Like this is where
guys, hold on. So that's when you buy. Is in a bear market, guys. I know you're trading right now in a bull market.
This is where billionaires are made. Millionaires are made in a bull market. Billionaires are made in a bear market.
Right.
Hear that out.
Accumulate in that bear market and hold. You got to hold assets. You got to be comfortable with holding assets for long periods of time. If you do your research and do due diligence, you know that asset's going to go. And you do your research. You zoom out. You see what the crypto market has been doing. If you can hold that asset for long enough, you will make due diligence.
Patience pays, man. Patience pays, hands down.
Patience is the biggest thing you need to learn in this market. Patience, because you know where it's going. We've had this conversation. You know where this market's going. You got to have the patience to hold these. You got to have you got the patience to live a certain way until that we make that money. You can't live beyond your means. I was eating ramen and buying, going to the farmer's market and buying vegetables and making my own food. Thank God I'm a chef, but. Like I save my money, I invest my money, but I choose not to spend money on lavish things. I don't go out much. I don't go to dinner much. I don't go to the bars much and spend my money like that. It's like I know at a certain age I want to be in a certain place. So right now I'm investing my money and being patient, and then I know I'll be rewarded in the end because I know where this market is going.
He said. Never tell someone not to get a degree. No, I wouldn't say that. But he said if crypto goes up, you still have your degree. Crypto isn't a short game unless you're doing long and shorts. I know, right? I like what this guy said.
You know what you want to do in life, and you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. Yeah, yes, obviously a degree in that is for sure. But the way they push college on people, like when they're 18 years old, you don't know what you want to do. In this country, it's crazy to think that they're telling 18-year-olds, you got to know what you want to do, you got to go pay. And so they get these student loans, right? You spend 4 years in state school. You get out, you're in $60,000 in debt, right? And then you got a finance degree. Then you get into the market. Think of the people in 2008, they got a finance degree and they get thrown into the markets and you can't get a finance job. Obviously, you're $60,000 in debt and you can't get a job in the field that you got a degree in. You become a waitress, you become a whatever. It's like, they shouldn't push this on people. Yeah, know what you want to do and then go to school for that for sure. But they shouldn't be pushing on that you have to go and get a degree in this, or you have to go to this college and pay this amount of money.
So the most successful, when I read a lot of books, I read about people. I like Wikipedia and I learn. And like the most successful people dropped out of college, bro. I'm being honest. Like, and I'm not telling you guys to drop out of college. I'm not saying that. I went to college. I have a degree. I finished my college degree. It was a great experience. I learned a lot. It was awesome. Granted, but then I could have entered my industry. I entered the industry. They asked for my degree, but they gave me $475 a week and put me in a shipping room. And I was like, what did I go to? Like, I was learning cameras and Now you want me to like work my way through, and it was
Yeah,
like,
you could have started there in the
and the
beginning.
guy that I know now, he's he makes a couple $100,000 a year. He was he was in the shipping room with me. He had just gotten out like a year after me, and he was teaching me the ropes, and he showed me engineering. Like, he dropped out of high school. Like, he got his GED. Like, he got into the TV industry, and like he makes a couple $100,000 a year. He's like one of the smartest people I know right now, and like they go to him to how to set up their entire TV studios, and he like creates their databases, and I was doing remote technical work with him for the last few months, and so a lot of people I know a guy in Brooklyn runs, like, he creates motorcycles, like he bends and he does custom ones. He only makes like 4 or 5 a year, and he sells them for like 60, 70 grand a piece. Like, dude makes like.
So, and think about it, universities in this country have become a business, and it's like you go to other countries. When I travel a lot. I've been all around the world. And when I talk to people that live in Norway, Sweden, Germany, guys, they pay the same tax rate. People are like, oh, they pay higher taxes. They're socialist countries. They pay 33% tax, like most of us do. They get free healthcare. They get free education. They get free college education. What they do is when they graduate high school, they pay for them to go travel for a year, right? Figure out what they want to do in life. And when they come back, they pay for their education. That is so good for their country. They're actually investing in the future of their country.
Yeah.
Our country, it's all about money. They found a way that they can look at the cost of education in the last 30 years. It's gone like this, and our wages have gone like this. How can we possibly afford an education when we get out of school and we're in debt? And you can't go.
The whole thing makes no sense. You're paying more. The dollar's going down. You're paying more for the tuition, and then you get out, and your dollar's still going down, and you owe money now. It's just a freaking mess.
Because
right?
back in the day, a student, right, could have a job, make a summer job, right, get enough money to pay for that school the next year, and then go to summer. You could pay for your school as you went on. Now you got these loans out, dude. $30,000 a year for an education. It's $40,000 a year for an education is insane. And they don't push trade schools on people anymore. So they want you to go to universities. But meanwhile, you could go to you could become an electrician or a plumber and make tons of money.
Yeah.
And not spend as much money as you would if you went to university.
Agreed.
It's all the corrupted system, man. It's the healthcare system corrupted, the universities and college system corrupted. It's just the way.
Even my wife the other day, my wife said, fresh milk is really good for you. I don't think dairy is great, but she said, fresh cultured milk has all this nutrients and stuff in it, like maybe a glass a week or something. But she was saying but the FDA regulates that. Like, they freaking sent agents into those Amish places and like broke all the milks. Like, you can't drink uncultured milk now. We have to, and then they homogenize the milk. If you Google homogenization, that leads to it's not good for you. It's not good.
For you.
And then on top of that, and you could Google all that, the homogenization of milk and when they started doing that, and then you're also getting on top of that the GMO milk, right? It just now and then pasteurization, Louis Pasteur. Pasteurization leads to I believe you do not want to be drinking pasteurized liquids. You don't. Like, it's not good for it. Like, pasteurized orange juice, go Tropicana. It says you want to go find fresh squeezed orange juice.
When you're a pregnant woman's not supposed to drink pasteurized milk, right? Or unpasteurized.
I don't think I don't like drinking pasteurized anything personally. Like, it's their way of disinfecting it by heating it up. I mean, it's killing a lot of the nutrients. When you drink Tropicana orange juice in the store, you were absorbing barely any of natural nutrients. They dyed it orange because it turned a different color when they boiled it. It's not real orange juice, guys. I did it for 5 years. For years, I was living under the gaze too. I'm not going to admit that I was always woke, or I didn't even like using that word because they can kind of. But I won't admit that I wasn't always enlightened,
educated,
or yeah.
Well, they hold it. They hide it from us. We're the only country or major country in the world that doesn't allow their own consumers to know what's in the food that they eat.
Dude,
like, come on,
the real lies. Real lies is to see the real lies. When you realize something, you see the real lies, right? When you live on another frequency, people freak when they see you because you're on another frequency, bro. I made that up yesterday, frequency, and I was going to start a new YouTube channel called Frequency, and spell it frequency, and then just do like one daily dose of like inspirational life, like, and just kind of like let that cook or something. If I even had the time, I probably don't. But
Hey, so
Never mind.
before we leave, is there any questions about XRP and the lawsuit that anybody?
It's a good question. Yeah. Any last? Yeah. Let's get into the. We kind of abandoned the
I
comment
haven't even
section.
looked at the comments.
But
Love you guys, by the way.
yeah, we love you guys. Realize the real laws. Yeah, man. Squeeze your own oranges in the morning. Take 3 minutes. Tropicana is horrible stuff. Crypto guys. I know, right? The rapper Snow, the product, owns the rights to the term woke. It's trademarked. The rapper Snow, the product, owns the rights. That's crazy. He's probably right. I am an ex-qualified master plumber. It was a great job. We've been brainwashed to drink
You're
milk.
making bank. I know.
They say it's healthy. It's not. Milk actually deteriorates your bones. It actually causes like an acidity in your bones, and actually can. Watermelon will give you the strongest bones of anything you can eat in your life. People, it's got lycopene in it.
It's what I'm eating for lunch.
Watermelon will give you really strong bones. People don't realize that. Squeeze your own oranges. Freak when see. Yeah, it's freak when see. Like when you see me. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. Like the words are right there. Look, television, right? A vision. Like you're telling me, vision. Like it's creepy, man. Like it's program. The television program.
That's
like,
serious.
They
Television
programmed you, bro. I'm gonna watch my program tonight. Like what? You program computers, bro.
Yo, man. Ever since I did it when I actually went to college, by the way. When I never finished, but I went to college 2 years. I did a project on Nazi propaganda and how Hitler and the Nazis used the first television to program their youth, and they'd sit these kids in front of a TV and teach them Nazism and all this the thoughts of Nazism, and it worked. Obviously, look at that generation did things that they wouldn't think a human could possibly do. It's like it's a program. They program when you sit in front of that TV.
Look what he just said too. The library where they bury the lies, yo.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, yo.
You gotta find those, man. You gotta.
Yo, they're all. Yo, they're out in. They're in plain sight. Dude, when you get a mortgage, you know what a mortuary is when you die. When you get a mortgage, those two words seem similar. You're in financial death, right? Spell. When you spell a word, spelling. The English language spell. Don't you put a spell on someone? Is spelling, when you spell something, are you making
Did you hear about what
curse?
BlackRock's doing, buying all the real estate around?
Yeah, soon you're going to have to, you will not be able, I watched Mike Maloney's video. Well, go watch, Mike, did you watch Mike Maloney's video? It sounded like you did, because just 2-3 days ago, he was live. I caught the live. I just happened to be on. I caught the live. He's saying, nobody will own a house anymore. You will rent from BlackRock. 10 years from now, you will not, the average person will not be able to own a house, because the property value will keep going up, because they keep printing money, but no one will have any of it. And then the value of it will go down. So you're going to have so much of it to buy a house, and you can't even accumulate it because it's going to be a mess,
This is why crypto, man. This is why I'm in crypto.
There's going to be Satoshi, please. Everything's going to be in Satoshis. Everything. You're not even going to hear Bitcoin. It's going to be based in Satoshi. How many Satoshis is that? That's going to be the monetary system, I believe.
The information is out there. You just got to find it, guys.
All right, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for being here with XRP Muser and me. Unbelievable, man. We started about 10:15. We went a nice 2 hours, man. Great live stream. We have to come up with decentralized housings. Yes. I want to talk about BlackRock with my wife. They will own every house. Yeah, we will own nothing, and we will be happy. That's what they're saying. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. The Klaus, remember the bald dude? Yeah, it's so creepy, bro. Like, he wants America to be soy boy, weak bodies. Yeah. How long will the lawsuit last? Yo. They will raise property tax to the point you can't afford a house. Exactly.
How long will the lawsuit last? So this is from what I hear from the lawyers from XRP community.
Yeah.
So they're going to go through this discovery phase of what they can argue in court. And if it goes to the case, it goes to a jury case. So they'll go through this discovery probably until September, they're saying.
Yep. Yeah.
And then in late September, early October, you'll know if there's a settlement. So I'm thinking there's going to be a settlement. So I'm thinking September, October, this case is going to be closed. They'll have a settlement. And I think it's going to be...
That's when the market usually pumps, too, when it starts to pump, late October into,
XRP is going to pump when this settlement comes, because it's going to be a pretty big dollar sign. Like, you're going to be like, wow, that's a lot of money they have to pay out. But this is what they're going to have. Like, I know this is going to happen because the SEC has to have some type of win in this. And I think
what's really weird, too? It's kind of funny, man. There is called the October effect in trading, and they say you buy in October, go away in May. It's like sell in May and go away. It's literally a saying. And had we done that, it's kind of weird. Like, that's just like a simple freaking thing that's been known. It's like an old wives' tale through the stock market. But you know, once you get into trading, you start reading these things, you pick up on these on the folklore, and it was saying, buy Bitcoin in October and sell it around May. It would have been a pretty great idea. You know, it's just crazy. Or late April. You know, it's just funny, man. But guys, thank you so much for being here.
Real quick. So if the case doesn't get settled, then the case will probably end sometime early next year. So let's hope that's
2022.
2022. But I still think XRP is going to go past its all-time high with or without this case, because XRP has done it in the past without that Ripple, and they'll do it again because it's. They
don't need Coinbase either. I watched it go to Moon Lambo, or you know, a lot of XRP, and he went through the analytics and the statistics, and he showed you that we could do this easily without Coinbase. Like, as long as you can still trade.
It wasn't even on it was on like 3 exchanges or so. No, it wasn't on Coinbase then.
And it pumps so hard, yo. It pumps so hard.
Again.
Yeah.
No, not financial advice. Get yourself a financial advisor.
One thing we do have to say here, XRP Muser and me and everyone associated with the Crypto Lifer Show are not financial advisors. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do your own due diligence before getting into any project or trade. This is all for entertainment and informational purposes only. With that being said, thank you for the support. Thank you for the 10K. Thank you for everyone here. Love you guys.
Get to 100, boys. 100K.
Yep. No super chats today. It was a little lame, but we'll be, you know, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. I wasn't giving any calls, so it's funny, man. But thank you guys so much for being here. Really is a blessing. Have you said thank you today? Right? I woke up with the same idea. Follow me on Instagram. My link's here. I'm been doing daily little doses every day, kind of just enlightening doses, kind of how I feel in the morning, kind of getting your mind right. And I believe that's good for trading as well.
And guys, if you want to get more XRP legal news and stuff, I post a lot of stuff on my Twitter handle. It's XRP Muser at XRP Let's Go, I think it's called.
Yeah.
But I always post. I'm always retweeting all the legal stuff. So
yeah.
Get into the news.
Check it out. I'm just going to go to the Twitter and give you guys XRP Muser's Twitter, so you can follow him on Twitter. Check him out. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoLifer33. About to hit 1,700 followers. We're reclaiming the 800 that just evaporated one night. I do not know how that happened. I had 1,800 followers. One day I woke up with 900. But we're almost back to square one again. And XRP Muser, take a look at him.
You gotta fight that system. They're always trying to bring you down.
Dude, I had to fight. XRP, so he's at Team XRP Let's Go, XRP Muser, but follow him. And he's always, look, SEC case right here. And he's always putting out information about SEC, XRP, and other things in the cryptocurrency space.
And not just other cryptocurrency stuff too. I know I'm a big XRP guy, but I love it.
I think he should make his own YouTube channel. What do you guys think? I think he should do a spinoff and kind of go on and just, you know, even if he does once a week, whatever he does, I think it'd be awesome to see him kind of go his own way through crypto. So yeah, encourage him, man. Tell him you want to see him on YouTube, man. Demand that he starts his own channel. We want XRP Muser. I'm gonna start a We Want XRP Muser shirt.
Well, I got a great example in front of me, so you know.
Hey, there you go. Best friends for life, man. Always knew we were gonna be together till one of us passed, you know. And maybe we passed together, who knows? But on like some jungle trip when we're 85 years old.
We'll be old on the rocking chairs on the porch talking about our
drinking gin and lemonade.
On big mansions.
One last thing I want to leave you guys with: Dragon Man skull found in China, maybe a new human species. Just something really strange to think about. Is that a reptilian? Dragon Man. Yeah, just disclosure coming out there. Just leave that with a quick twist. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can find out when we post our next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then what are they doing, XRP? They came to the channel.
Right thing, aren't they?
Already doing the right thing. Yep. And guys, we're going to say, as we always do, at the end of every live stream, if I could find the live button, which I put on, got 100 videos, windows open. I just
Dude, you should see this man's screen in front of him. I don't even know how he has like so much in front of him. I don't know how he does it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate you guys.
Love you guys.
I found it. And we'll see you on the next one, man. Stay tuned. We got no breaks like Trump train, Muser, XRP, the block train, all aboard. This guy said, we are not affiliated with any political party. besides crypto. Following you, XRP Muser. Start a channel. Get a better mic first, though, bro. Come on. What do it, Muser. Laughing my ass off. Man. We are the aliens. Dragon Man. Love this channel, man. Later. Thank you with the L8R. 10 is my Twitter. I'll follow. Awesome. I've been trying to throw 20. Oh, he was trying to throw a super chat. It just didn't work. Man, it's weird. And don't ask people if you should invest in crypto. Do your own research. The ETH guy, the interview he did, he said January 2020 2.0 comes out. Okay, take a look at Elon. Sold all his real assets and currently lives in a 50K house. He rents from space. Why? Interesting.
I'd look into that one.
Yeah, that's weird. All aboard the crypto railroad. All right, guys, thank you so much. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Ready, Reezer? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Crypto is life. We'll see you guys in the next one. Wait. The $20 just came in. Thank you so much. We did get $20.
Appreciate it.
Summer heard it. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3. Crypto is life. We'll see you on the next one. Be safe. Crypto is life.
Have a good day, Summer.
Bye.